Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 140 of Mirrorless Minutes. You know, it's funny. I don't even remember if that's the show count number that we're on. Regardless, I might have to fix this in the audio version later. But back here again with Jerry James. How's it going over there on the west side, Jerry?
It's hot, man. It's hot.
Oh, God.
I'm
Yeah, you
pretty
know
sure
what?
it's hot over there too, though.
It for
Yeah.
sure is. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later. Obviously, we got Bob dropped in here. I know Bob's over on
What's
the
up, Bob?
we literally have the whole state covered. I'm in the middle. Bob's on the east. You're on the west.
Right.
And I don't think any of us have had really much relief from this heat. So, not the best thing. And I think maybe that's, something that I know you and I talked about before the show, is that maybe, if we had people drop in, we could start asking people, what are you doing to beat the heat when it comes to photography?
Right.
Bob wants to know what happened to Mike. I'll let you talk to Mike.
Right. Mike, where you at?
Mike's just got a lot of stuff going on. So,
Yeah.
that's just kind of where Mike is.
Hey, John.
Mike's not behind the mic tonight. How about that?
All right. Mike's busy.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, how's it going, John? Good to hear from you and see you out there on the other side.
Right.
So tonight's show, we kind of wanted to make this all about you. I guess all two of you. Okay, we've got 9 people watching. I take that back. 2 people chatting, 9 people watching. Hey, Shelly, how's it going?
Shelly.
Mike. This is not the mic you're looking for, but we're always looking to have this mic on anyways. How's it going, Mike?
Right.
So what we kind of titled this, that we wanted it to be about you guys or for you guys. We just kind of want to start, I think, changing direction a little bit with the show and have more engagement from you guys. We'd love to get the interaction going for sure. Questions for people who want to drop in and put their face on the screen. That's always an option as well. I think moving forward, we'll be doing these shows more regularly. And I think also I'll probably do it the way I did this time. So when I put out the initial posts, I said that in the comments below that post, I gave the link to actually be a guest. So we don't have anybody who's taking advantage of that tonight. But, again, moving forward, just look for it that way. I can't really put the link to join in the main subject of those initial posts because unfortunately you don't get that link until you've actually already queued up the show. It's kind of a weird system.
You remember what happened last time you put a link in there?
Yeah, well, the last time I put a link in there, we had more people than we could handle. But the good thing is
I'm talking about when they killed the show.
Oh, yeah, that's funny. So I guess that's a good thing to talk about right now. We can talk about that. So
Right.
The last episode, I believe it cut out about the time that I shared Jerry's Instagram handle. And I think I may have posted a link to it in the chat. I'm not sure exactly what it was. But I know that Bob said he just noticed the link and it scrolled by before he got in. It's if you go back to Facebook or the YouTube channel, you'll see the link in the comments there.
I don't think you put the actual link, though. I think you just put what the Instagram handle was.
Oh, yeah. So
I think. Yeah, who knows, man?
So we're not for sure exactly, but I do know this much. So I got a email from YouTube saying that they pulled the show, that they can't, that they pulled it off of YouTube. And we got Bob here. We'll add you to the stream in a second, Bob. So they pulled the show like midstream and didn't say exactly why. And then I got a follow-up email saying that what it is because of COVID, some of the flagging systems are a little bit goofy. And here's how I'm assuming things work. They have AI that analyzes a feed or a video for something that doesn't fit their community guidelines. And then what happens is before they take it off air, before they cancel a live broadcast, that is routed to a human being who then makes a final determination because obviously the computers aren't infallible. Because of COVID, all those humans are now fewer humans. So playing better safe than sorry, I guess. YouTube says, okay, we're going to kill the feed. And then you can file a complaint or a petition or an appeal to get your feed put back on or to get your video put back on. So we did that, but it still cut it off at that point anyways. So It was kind of a janky situation, not too impressed with it. So hopefully this time we've got a little bit better of a workaround. So for those who were asking last time about Jerry's Instagram,
No, be careful.
This is how you follow Jerry on Instagram. I didn't type it in to chat, so hopefully YouTube doesn't yank the show. We'll find out in chat really soon if they do.
Right.
Shelly loves the backgrounds. It's
thank you.
Kind of cool. Like I've got blue.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Orange in the upper right or upper left.
I'm gonna have to move my ball over here.
There you go. Get your big red ball over to the side. So that's a little bit of a explanation about what happened on the last episode. So hopefully, again, we don't have that happen again. Right. We'll pop Bob in here now.
Oh, hey, Bob.
See, it does work.
Yep, it definitely does work. So I don't know if you could hear while you were sitting in the green room waiting for us, but I was waiting to get through my little explanation of YouTube flagging us and pulling us down before I dropped you into the show.
Right.
So, Bob, we kind of let off the show talking about how freaking hot it is. How is it on the east side of Michigan today? Is it cooler over there?
Oh, it's 68 degrees.
What? No way.
Yeah, in my basement right now.
Oh, right.
I've been in here all day long.
Right.
For sure. So
I'm working, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of, that's what I've been doing too. I've been working indoors in front of this machine here. So just kind of putting that out there to those that are watching. If you're watching this and you're able to chat, just jump in and let us know if you are encountering like a lot of heat where you live. I'm just kind of curious what people are doing to still get into photography, still do it, or are you just spending time indoors editing and looking at other people's work? I'm really curious about that. I know I am a wuss. I don't like the heat. I'm not. This figure was not built for heat. This was built for cold weather. So I tend to stay indoors.
I've been out every day almost, man.
Oh,
I love the heat.
Yeah.
I have gotten out a few times. I needed to do a shot for competition for my club, so I got out and did some pictures. I mean, my problem is distance limits. I mean, I just haven't got the time to go too far to go someplace. And where I live, I mean...
Right. A challenging environment where you're at. You'd rather be somewhere further away.
Yeah, like Colorado next week.
There you go. Well, it doesn't really stay super cool there sometimes either, unless you get up into the mountains a bit, and then it cools down some. But...
Yeah, we're going to the San Juan Mountains.
Okay, well, there you go. You should probably be perfectly fine.
So we'll be about 8,000 feet.
Nice. Good. Just don't do any running. It's funny how quick...
This is not a body that runs. I haven't run since I was a teenager.
Yeah, I try not to either. I run this thing right here as much as possible to avoid running the feet. Today I wanted to talk about... Okay, so let me back up a little bit. Again, so we were talking about wanting to change things up, wanting to get a little bit more interaction, a little bit more back and forth, a little bit more viewer involvement, but also we want to start moving forward, start giving more back as far as content. Making this more than just talking. We want to get back, ideas, tips, things like that, things that Jerry and I are doing, or if you jump on and have like a tip or something that you've been doing that works well for you, we'd love to be able to use this platform to share it with other people. So with that said, tonight I'm going to spend some time talking about Google Photos. If you've been on any kind of a workshop with me or a presentation that I've done, you've heard a lot of what I'm going to say, but I've come to realize over the past few days, I've seen several times on Facebook in different groups where people were looking for solutions to different things they were running into, and Google Photos handled all of those situations, I think, probably pretty well, and a lot of people I don't think realize what all you can do with Google Photos. So I'm going to talk about that tonight as my little tip, my little nugget that I'm going to hand out. So hopefully a few people walk away from here tonight with a little bit more information than they had going into it. I don't want to hog the mic. I've been talking nonstop. So I'll let Jerry jump in, talk a little bit about what he's been up to lately, some things he might have planned, anything new that he may have gotten that has changed some of the stuff he's able to do. I see nice shallow depth of field there in your video feed tonight, Jerry.
Right. So I picked up a capture card to use my camera as a webcam. The webcam on this laptop's horrible. So I was like, I got to get something. And the Elgato Cam Link has been out of stock since COVID hit. I couldn't find them anywhere. They didn't even have them on the site for the longest. So I was looking for an alternative, and I came across something on YouTube, and it looks identical. It's a generic brand, and it's from China, and it's $38.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me pick this thing up. I mean, if it's got to be better than the webcam that's built into the laptop.
Sure.
And I did watch some reviews on it. Everybody said it was good. I picked it up, and I like it, man. It looks really good. It's for $38. I mean, you can't go wrong.
And you said it looks identical to the one from Elgato.
Yeah. Yep.
So my guess it's it could be at the same place.
Right. So, man, you know what? I don't got the box around here. The only thing it says on it is HDMI. You know the HDMI logo?
Yeah.
That's the only thing printed on the device. So all these other companies sell this thing, but they all just have HDMI written right on the capture card, and that's the only thing. There's no branding or anything. So
do you happen to remember the brand that you had bought? What it was called?
Yeah, I got a picture of it.
Sounds like an Amazon link time.
Yeah.
Right.
It definitely will be something that we share for sure.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, we can put it in there. It is.
And that'll go on
the box doesn't even have a brand name on it. It just says HD. It's as generic as you can get, other than being black and white.
So after the show, when we're done here, I'll have Jerry jump on Amazon, go through his order history, and figure out which one it was, and then we can share a link to that.
Right, for sure.
I know a lot of people who maybe aren't necessarily an Olympus user might want this, because not all companies currently are pushing out these updates that turn your cameras into webcams, and even then, not all cameras are necessarily covered by these updates that companies are doing as well. So a low cost option would be good.
For sure.
I don't remember what I paid for my Elgato Cam Link.
They're like $150.
Yeah, it was about $150. So if you can save, $110, $115, that's a good deal, and it seems to be working perfectly fine right now.
I'm impressed, dude. Actually, for $38, man.
Yeah, you can't beat that. And with everybody doing, well, not everybody, but a lot of people doing more and more things remotely currently, either for work or for visiting family and friends. It's cool to be able to use a camera like these to, make your video stand out versus, standard webcam or whatever. Gives you a little bit more flexibility. So I see here that Mike had 91 in Illinois today and crazy humid. I know that's close to what it was here. I mean, we were close to that. I think at my house, I think I hit 90 or 91 today also, and the heat index was just close to 100 today. So, and John Thomas said he hiked out to Big Sable, took fluids, and enjoyed the lake. Was hot on the lake. I know when you were there, John, because I was on that side of the state at the same time you were, and I almost went to Point Betsy for sunset and then ended up not, and stayed up at the Platte River for a bit. So almost crossed paths with you. So I'm going to jump right in and talk a little bit about Google Photos, why I preach the Google Photos thing so much, so often to people. So for those who don't know, Google constantly is doing all sorts of things where they're making products and handing them out for free for people to use. They always have an ulterior motive on their end for doing it. And in the case of Google Photos, I think that what they're doing on the back end is they're using your photos to help their AI learn more about, the world around it. Basically, we're basically making Skynet smarter by giving them our photos. But so what Google Photos is it's a backup solution. So you can download a desktop app and you can download a mobile app, and it's all platforms except for Linux maybe, but Windows and Mac are supported, as is iOS and Android. You can just go to the Mac App Store, or I'm sorry, I don't know what it is on iOS anymore. Whatever the iPhone's App Store is, or the Google Play Store, and just search for Google Photos. You can download the app there, put it on your phone. They also have a desktop app. Excuse me, bad night tonight with my throat here. They also have a desktop app, again for Mac and for Windows. And if you go to the URL photos.google.com/apps, you can download the desktop app there. And the reason I'm telling you about both these apps is because used in conjunction, it offers a lot more power than just having the mobile app on your device. So what it does, the desktop app, once it's installed, you can tell it what folder you want to back up images from, and it will watch that folder for you. It won't back up raw files, but it will back up your JPEG. So if you're like me and you have a folder that edits go in for each year, and even if it contains subfolders, I have Google Photos looking at that. So for instance, on my computer, currently I have a master folder for 2020. And then inside of that, I've got folders for each event that I've attended or what have you. And then I've also got a folder for edited images. So those are the JPEG images that I've edited. They go into that folder. Google Photos watches that. Every time a new photo is added to that, it's synced up to the cloud. There are some downscaling, resolution, limitations to it. It will kind of downsize things a bit, but for a free backup solution, it's really not a bad deal.
How much space do you get, Jamie?
Unlimited.
Really?
Unlimited.
I'm paying for OneDrive. God damn it.
No, now you don't have to pay. So now you can back up.
I know you've been telling me about this for 2 years now, and I just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
That's okay. So you just add another backup source, so now you've got some redundancy there.
Right.
And
of course, OneDrive comes with Office too, so.
Right.
I'm trying to think of all the people who are going to clap when they hear about that. But but actually, I don't know. I live in.
Can you share your folders with clients?
Yes, you can. So you
can you password them?
I don't know that you can password them, but the link is going to be
just for whoever has the link.
Correct.
Right.
So there's one benefit to Google Photos. Okay, with the desktop app, you now have a backup solution. Once the photos have sat in there for a little while, it's generally pretty quick. Now you can start searching through your photos based on content. And I think I'll just do a quick screen share. And I think I share a Chrome tab. There you go. So you guys should be able to see my Chrome tab, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's say I wanted to search Utah. So my images from Utah pop up. Okay, that's great. So what if I wanted to search for a cat? How many pictures of a cat do I have? I've got pictures of cats that I've taken that are all backed up. The same with dog or flowers, you name it.
Now the AI knows that's a cat without that having to be in the description of the photo, right?
I do not do any hashtagging or anything. And yes, for those wondering, those are marijuana plants at the top. The company I work for makes a grow light, so full disclosure there. But anyways, so that kind of shows you the searchability of it. So that's great. So I typed in flowers. So we can look at this flower image, that I put in just the other day. Another benefit of this is that if you also have Google Photos app installed on your phone, because your phone is usually always with you, right, it will look at the date stamp of the image that was taken with your camera, compare it to your phone's geolocation at the same time, and then it will start populating information like,
Maps.
Where you were at in Google Maps. So that's kind of a sweet thing as well. So
what about
again,
the GPS on the
on the EM1X? That's great. How does the GPS on the EM1X work on your EM10 Mark III?
Oh, I realize that. I'm just a question of whether or not it picked up on the stuff from the X.
It certainly does. It certainly does.
Good.
Yep.
So I got a question, Jamie. So what about names? What if you type somebody's name? Because I have, I shoot multiple people, and if I want to find certain photos, or I want to show somebody a set of photos I did from, say, Jessica, can I type in Jessica and it'll only pull up her photos?
Well, how about this, Jerry? How about Jerry James? This guy. So this was you in San Francisco.
Yeah.
There you are. This is where we were at.
Yeah.
So
nice. I got to get that going, man.
So again, it's just one of those things where it's free currently. And like anything with Google, who knows how long it's going to be free for. Google likes to make something incredible and then just say, we're going to just kind of let it go by the wayside or just abandon it. If they do, if that does happen at some point, like any other company, they always give you plenty of time and opportunity to retrieve your stuff that's up there if you so chose to move it to another place or what have you. But so far, it's been running for years. I've been using it for years now, probably 3 years now, I think. And they just keep continuing to add new features to it and new things. So again, to get the features that I was showing, you know, as far as the geotagging and things like that, you're going to want to put the Google Photos app on your phone, in addition to have the Google Photos app on your desktop. That way, you know, it can compare, like I said, timestamps of your image to geolocation from your phone. And I love it. And one of the things that I like to bring up, like in presentations or any kind of workshops, I don't know how many times, and we've all experienced this, or maybe have done this in the past, when you say to somebody, "Oh, I've got this killer photo of this eagle I shot when I was in Silverton, Colorado. Let me find it." And then you look at somebody for like 10 minutes because they're digging. Or you could just type in Silverton, Colorado, and then all your images from there. Or you could type in Eagle, Silverton, Colorado. Now you've even limited more to specifically, you know, you're even narrowing the search down more. And it's pretty incredible stuff. And again, you know, it will also back up, of course, the images on your phone. And when you're doing the images on your phone, you do have full control over what folders on your phone it's going to back up. So you don't have to worry about it backing up stuff you don't want backed up. You're in full control of that as well. And it does back up video from your phone as well. I have not tried, because I don't do video all too often with my regular cameras. And if I do, it doesn't go into my edited JPEG folder anyways. So I'm not sure if, you know, video shot with your Olympus or whatever camera is going to end up on Google Photos or not. I couldn't answer that off the top of my head. But again, you know, from my experience with my phone, it does put videos up on there as well. So it's a cool backup solution. And, you know, so that's what I'm using it for. I'm using it for backup. I'm using it for remembering where the hell I was at when I took a photo, especially when you're in some of these weird places in Utah, like this abandoned gas station that I was at. I couldn't tell you for sure how to get back to that spot, but now it's geotagged and I know exactly where it is. So, you know, again, that's just kind of my little give back, my little, you know, educational moment tonight on Mirrorless Minutes is just, you know, how powerful Google Photos is and some of the stuff that you can do with it.
Right. Yeah, I've seen you use it, man. It looks really cool. I think I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, it's pretty invaluable to me, especially again when I'm trying to share some of the things that I've shot and dig through stuff. And so when I first set it up, I think I've been using it for a little over 2 years now. My image catalog goes back to 2007. I've used the same directory structure since 2007, so I have a folder in my 2007 folder called 2007 Edits or whatever it's titled. After I set up the Google Photos app on my computer, I just added all those folders from 2007 all the way up until, was it 2018, I think, when I started using it, or 2017. So I just let that run in the background, and over the course of, you know, 4 or 5 days, now I've got, you know, 30,000 or 20,000 or whatever the number of images all the way backed up, you know, back to when I first started taking photos.
Nice.
Yep. And what's cool is that as long as I had a Google phone, it used that information. So I didn't have Google Photos back in like 2015, I think, but I had like one of the first Google Pixel phones. Right. And because Google's, you know, maps and services run in the background, it was able to geotag based on that as well. So if you're an Android user, it'll look back previous years and be able to do that geotagging for you as well.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
So it don't do it for iPhone, just Android?
It'll geotag with the iPhone, but it will only do it moving forward.
Going forward.
You know, so if you
so anything you take from that point on, right.
Got it. Yep, right. Definitely. So Mike says geotagging sounds very helpful. Right now, unless he uses the EM1X, he often has no idea how to get back to the same location unless it's somewhere familiar. Exactly. You know, right. I've been to Moab just a couple of times, and I'm hopefully going back with Jerry in September. And I'd like to go back to some of the spots I was in when I was there last that honestly I couldn't remember how to get back to some of those places. So this will help a lot for sure.
Right. There's places here I don't remember how I got to.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, how's it going, Ryan? Good to have you on, bud. So Ryan, if you don't know, is the newest member of the Olympus, one of the newest members of the Olympus Educators Program. So Ryan is basically from like right next door to the mothership in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, haven't had the pleasure of meeting him in person yet, but I hope to make that happen one day. But I just wanted to say congrats, dude. It's good to have you on the team.
Sure, for sure.
So kind of did my little spiel on Google Photos. Hopefully I hear back from people. I'd like to get some feedback from you guys on your experiences with it moving forward. And if anybody wants to down the road, jump on as a guest and talk about what the experience was like of using it, whether setup was easy for you, things like that. It'd be great to have somebody on also to talk about it, because I could preach to the choir all day about it.
Right,
Well,
right.
here's a testimony. I just finished the install.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So Bob is going to be our first testimonial. He'll be able to get it set up here. He's already done with the install. So now it's just a matter of him configuring what folders he wants to back up. And then just
Already did that. Just waiting for it to sync.
So Bob's a computer guy. Of course, he's going to be fast. I know not everybody's going to be that fast.
So I'm wondering, because I have all my stuff on OneDrive, if I am going to have to pull everything back down to the PC,
No.
or can I transfer from OneDrive to Google Photos?
So here's what you do. And what I did is OneDrive is mapped onto your local drive. So you've got
Okay.
a copy. You can say, I want these pictures kept local
Okay.
in OneDrive. Tell Google to use that same location.
Oh,
And they're
gotcha,
in
gotcha.
both places.
Yep.
So you actually got two backups. One with a decent user interface and the other one with the OneDrive interface, which is really kind of sucky.
Right.
Yeah, so there you go. I'm excited to hear what you think about it, Bob, because Bob is like the perfect person to kind of give like a really good analysis of this, because Bob lives in computers, inside and out, operating systems, back ends of everything. I mean, he just knows how everything works. So if there's an issue with it, Bob's probably going to be the one to find it and talk about it and find the workaround. So that's always good.
Yeah, this actually looks like a cool tool. Thank you. I mean,
not a problem.
I've been using SmugMug for years to show my stuff, and it's like, okay, I got to remember to sync it. And this is just, kind of like brain dead.
Okay, so
It's pretty cool.
I'm going to say something that I think probably a good chunk of our audience are going to understand and get where I'm coming from with this. I'm going to say that no one said it better than Ron Popeil with "set it and forget it," and that's kind of how this is.
What you drinking, man?
I am drinking. Oh my God, Hazel Badens, an old fashioned. Yes, with these super dark sweet cherries that I got up north near
You put them in the drink?
Yeah, while they were on my my little metal skull skewer.
Gotcha.
All
Don't
right.
look at me. I'm drinking dihydrogenous oxide.
Okay. So I'm gonna jump into the photo share now, and we'll save the chemistry lesson for later.
Hey, it's what little I remember of chemistry. Be nice.
There we go. Okay, so this is kind of some of the things that were shot over the last couple of weeks. Let me move that exit data off the screen there so you can check it out. So met up with Jerry James and my friend Shelly in Grand Haven, and just kind of spent the day hoping we were going to get some stormy weather. We really didn't. This kid's face basically expresses kind of how I felt about the whole storm chase situation. Ended up getting rained on a ton, but it just kind of goes to show you just have to get out there regardless of conditions, what have you, and just make the best of the situation. And I had that new lens I was talking about the other day, the one from Viltrox. It's the 85 millimeter f1.8. So I wanted to just take it out and start shooting candids of people walking around while I was out with that. So this is on the Sony a7 III with the Viltrox 85 1.8 wide open at 1.8. Next image, while I was away, in I don't even know where I was in Montana, or no, I was in Wyoming. Sorry, and I didn't even make it to Montana. I was in Wyoming. Actually, the day that I was shooting at Monroe, one of the couple of days I was there, I guess a crazy weather system moved through Michigan and took out the barn that I've been photographing for the last decade. And I think my barn caught wind that I was cheating on her with another one, and she just gave up on life. So I had to go out and at least take one last set of photos. I'm never going to visit that spot again. So these were the last images that I took there. I took probably about 15 images while I was there, and I did make sure to salvage a couple of things from that barn.
I was gonna ask you if you got some wood.
Yeah. So I did take one piece of wood. I originally thought about maybe taking a bunch of wood and having some like picture frames made, things like that, and then giving a few family and friends a framed image, and then maybe selling a handful of them. But I decided against that, and I salvaged a different piece of material from there, and you'll hear more about that in the coming, probably not till fall is when I start rolling out with this next project. But again, this was with the Sony. I've been shooting a lot with the Sony lately. I've been getting a lot of grief from people like, how come you don't shoot with the Olympus camera anymore? I do. I promise I do. It's just lately, I just kind of dip in and out of cameras. So this is again with the Sony, but with the Samyang 14 millimeter f2.8. It's the autofocus version of that. Really affordable lens for what it is too. And next up, so last weekend I mentioned that I was up north near the Platte River and things like that. I made a side stop I kind of did a little researching, a little sleuthing after seeing all of my friends who live in Pennsylvania, them photographing canola fields there. We actually have canola fields in Michigan. Actually, we have one farm. So track that down, and I will give away its location, and hopefully everybody doesn't destroy it like they do with the sunflowers, but it's in Marion, Michigan. It's kind of near Cadillac, sort of. Just took a detour to check out the canola fields to see if they were flowering. They were indeed flowering. Spoke with the owner of the farm a couple of weeks in advance of going there to find out, if I could get permission to go on their property for one, and then also to find out if they were indeed planting canola again this year. And they said they were. And they said they'd get a hold of me when, they thought that things were bloomed about as, fully as they're going to be. And I hadn't heard from them and decided to swing by the farm anyways, just to see. And this is the scene that I was greeted with. So I snapped some photos. And as I was driving away, I got an email from them saying, we just drove out to the fields about a half hour ago, and they look like they're ready. You should come up any day now. So I messaged them back and told them it was pretty ironic that I was literally just there photographing, that I'd send them some pictures to use on their Facebook page and website. So this again, Sony Samyang 14 millimeter f2.8, and this is at f7.1 for those who are curious about that. I just wanted a little more depth of field. I didn't need everything in the foreground in focus or out of focus. So
I've been thinking about picking up that 18 mil, that Samyang 18.
Yeah. It's a good in-between, for sure.
Right, and it lets you thread filters on, too.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
Well, look at the 17 to 28 from Tamron, maybe. You already have the 28 to 75.
Right.
Kind of complete that set, give you a little variety, and you're not stuck with a prime.
Right, true story.
But, so I kind of was live streaming this little bit of a storm chase the other week. Had you guys on my phone attached to the back of my truck watching live as I chased down what I was hoping was going to be a little bit more eventful than the shelf cloud coming in. Unfortunately, no lightning. And fortunately, for those who really get upset with me for not doing so, this was shot with the EM1X and the 7 to 14 2.8. And this is at the maximum end of the focal width there at 7 millimeters. Wanted to get that stone wall in the foreground. I just love having all these converging and conflicting leading lines in this shot. So again, so for shots like this, I tend to bracket. So this is bracketed with an exposure value of 3. So it's 0, -3, and +3, and then merged in Lightroom for this one. And I think I've got one more. So I showed this one a little bit earlier. So this is just one of those things where just desperate to make a photo, and on my drive home from Grand Rapids, stopped in, I think I was in Lake Odessa, just a little small town in between home in Grand Rapids as the sun was going down, and we were still getting a little bit of the Saharan dust in the sky, so the sunset was a little bit more brilliant than it had been, the week prior. So just jumped out, and this was shot again with the Sony and with that big portrait lens, the 85 1.8, chosen specifically so that I could have just this milkweed in focus, and everything else just kind of buttered and blurred out.
Nice.
And that is it for me. And I'm going to pull your photos up, Jerry.
Yes,
So
sir.
I will let this one rock and roll. I'll let you talk about it for 5 minutes. You have to fill it for 5 minutes.
All right. This is Jessica, downtown Muskegon. I called her up and was like, "Yo, let's get a quick session in real quick." And so we didn't venture off too far from this fence. It was right on a corner, so we did get some on the other side so I could get the sun coming through. But pretty much stayed in this location, same outfit, a few different poses. We just got a quick session in real quick, and that pretty much sums up about that one. We shot that's Sony A7 III, no Sony A7R2, Tamron 28-75 2.8.
Sweet.
This is my pride and joy for the week right here, man.
car
guess
cover?
guess what camera I shot that with, Jamie?
Your iPhone.
Oh, did I tell you already?
No. I just know, though. I know.
So this is a 3-second iPhone shot, handheld. Not bad for iPhone, right?
How long? 3 seconds?
3 seconds with the new night mode.
It's so crazy.
It was pitch black. You could barely see. You could see the highlights on the side of the car cover.
Yeah.
That's about all you could see if you were standing there.
Nice.
And so I ran the 3-second shot, and that's the light down the street. But I thought that turned out pretty cool to be an iPhone shot, man.
It's like having night vision.
Right?
Really
It's really cool. And this is the Pen F with the kit lens, since that's the only lens I have for it. I'm in love with that camera, man. This is the color palette number 2.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Color palette? What is
Color
it?
Profile.
Because the color profiles, yeah.
Yep.
Number 2, and this is straight out of camera. I didn't really do anything to this. I took the photo, sent it to the phone, and posted it.
Killer.
But I'm loving that pen, dude. That's awesome camera.
It's a fun camera.
It is crazy. It
It's-
is fun.
It's one of those ones where I think, realistically, for me, I can honestly say that the act of holding it makes me want to take pictures.
Right, for
You know,
sure.
There's just something about the size, the form factor. It just feels like a solid built, piece of
dense.
equipment. It's very good. I kind of wish that there was a Pen F2, with leather sealing. That's if I had a complaint, that's the only one.
Did you see? You know who Darren Miles is?
No, I do not.
He's a photographer out of Florida, YouTuber. He actually made a video about that and what could probably save Olympus, and he's talking about doing a Pen F Pro.
A Pen F Pro?
Yeah, he said in the video he owns like 17 camera bodies, and he said nobody ever pays attention to his cameras, but when he's got the Pen F, everybody stops him and asks him about that camera. Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They ask him, what camera is that? Does it shoot film? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he said people always stop him and ask about it. He said, but the only thing is there's just a few things they need to do, like weather seal it.
Yeah.
And a better battery life.
Yeah.
And things like that. He said that camera would be amazing. And
Yeah.
which, I mean, he's right. I agree with him. Me and Ramon talk about the pen all the time on how that camera's a few tweaks, and I mean, that would be close to the perfect camera.
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly don't have an issue with the battery life just because of the way I use it. I generally have the rear display folded and tucked right back into the back of the camera, so I don't ever really look at that. I might be the outlier in how I set up my cameras. I set them up for, optimizing battery life. I think, I have image playback turned off. I have my rear displays usually tucked in. I'm not chimping because there's no point. You pretty much know what you're getting if you look through the viewfinder. So
I find when I shoot that camera, I slow down for some reason. I treat it like it's a film camera. You know what I mean?
You do,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I'll walk around and I'll wait to take a picture till I really see something I like. You know what I mean?
And it's funny that you mentioned that people ask about the camera. He mentions people asking about the camera. The first time that I went on a business trip in my day job, it was to Chicago, and I packed that camera to take. And as soon as I pulled it out of the bag, everybody's like, "Wow, what is that? Is that is that a
it's a
camera?
cool
Like, what are you using?" And I'm like, "No, it's digital." And I'm showing them the back, and like, "Wow, that thing's super cool looking." I mean, even non-camera people appreciate that camera.
Right.
It's like a fine machine. It's really, it feels substantial.
It does. I mean, even, so the knurling on the dials, it's a metal dial with knurling. It's a work of art. It really is.
Oh, it is. There's no argument there.
I need to.
It doesn't suit my style, but I can appreciate it.
I need that 12 millimeter 2.0 for that. That'd be the perfect combo, dude.
That's my video lens.
Right. Oh, is that what you're using right now?
Yeah. It doesn't leave this camera. It's pretty much permanently attached to a tripod behind my computer. So, so Robert says he keeps the image playback off on his EM10 Mark II. That's kind of what I do. There's no point in it, really. I mean, if you're looking through the viewfinder, you knew what you shot.
Right.
Save that battery.
You can always hit the play button and view through the viewfinder.
Exactly.
I'm going to shoot some portraits with it.
Yeah, do it. All right. Well, I guess this is probably about time to wrap up the show.
Do you want to see one picture I just recently shot?
Yes,
sir.
See if the share will actually work. Where'd my mouse go? Lost my mouse again. There we go. And we may have to bounce around. Hopefully, nope, not that one. I've got 4 screens, so you got to understand. Take a second to find them. And of course, it's the last one. There we go.
Here's how it goes.
But
no. Here you go. There you go.
It doesn't look like right here, but so basically, I had an assignment for Weathered, and happened to think about this bridge in Metro Park, just a few minutes from my house, and that looks like weathered wood to me. So I went out and waited for sunset, got some nice clouds, and unfortunately, rain rolled in just a few minutes after this, so I didn't really get the clouds to light up the way I was hoping for. But still, it turned out okay.
Well, no, I wouldn't say unfortunately. I would say it worked out perfect. Without that weather rolling in, you wouldn't have had the sky like that.
Well, no, see, I was hoping that the clouds would roll in a little bit, the sun would drop a little bit, and turn them all, gorgeous.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but the rain rolled in and the sun went away, so, it pretty much killed that idea.
I think the wood in the foreground makes the shot.
Yeah, it's different. It's not your normal sunset.
Right. Very cool.
I'm curious what camera lens combo you're using for that to get that starburst that well.
Oh, that was EM1X. I'm pretty sure it was the 12-100 at f/22.
Nice.
Then I shot it bracketed and ran it through Aurora.
Sweet.
Well, I love Aurora.
So here's another great observation on this photo is that I know it would be hard to determine anyways just because of the objects in the scene, but I don't see any dust spots. And at f/22, even the tiniest dust spot would show up like a big ink blot. And I'll tell you what, stopping down on the Sony cameras, dude. So I've got a Pelican case behind me. That's my like Sony bag now is a Pelican case. And in the top of the Pelican case behind all the foam, I've got like 20 swabs. And then I've got a holder spot in the Pelican case for a bottle of sensor cleaner.
Sensor cleaner? What do you use that for?
Look, hey, I was into photography 10 years, 11 years before I even knew what that stuff was. So, yeah, again, it's another huge kudos to Olympus, for their dust reduction system.
I've never had to clean the sensors on my Olympus cameras. Never, dude. Never.
So John Thomas is looking for a guide to help him set up his EM1 Mark III. I'm going to honestly say that realistically,
Tony Northrup.
No, Tony Northrup. You could probably use a guide for the EM1 Mark II for 90%, 95% of what you want to do.
I borrowed an EM1 Mark III, and all I had was an EM1X to work from.
Yeah.
I set them side by side and went through the menu and just, there's a few differences, but they're pretty easy to figure out.
Right.
And in 20 minutes, I had it set up.
Yeah. So I think, John, to answer your question, sort of, probably not the exact answer you want. You could probably go with, again, the majority of the settings that are on your existing camera, your previous camera, save for joystick settings. Other than that, you're going to have Starry Sky autofocus or a few things. You're probably literally going to be able to count on one hand with maybe an amputation how many changes there are from your current camera to the EM1 Mark III as far as setup is concerned.
It'll take you a while to get used to where the menu and the info button are. But
Yes.
other than that.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of where the menu button is on the EM1X. I feel like it's cumbersome at best for me.
Well, if you get rid of all your cameras except an X,
Then it's perfect.
you get used to it.
Yes. I want to do this. I want to reach right here and go boop with my thumb. I don't want to go over here and do this.
All right, yeah. It's definitely because it's down in the lower corner. But, yeah.
So you either have to switch to the complete opposite hand and reach, which I never remember to do, but
That's why I rerouted my power button.
to turn it into your menu button.
No, the power switch, you can reroute it so I could do it one hand.
Yeah. I'm just talking about getting into the menu.
Right.
Like if I want to make a quick menu setting or something, I feel like I'm traveling across a small nation to get to the menu button.
Yep, there's definitely that. But on the positive side, you can press the info button with your thumb. On the X.
Yes, you can.
Doing it on the 3 is a pain in the butt. And I use it to change my viewfinder settings all the time.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right, you guys. We've been running about 45 minutes on this show. Hey, Bob, thanks for dropping in. It's fun to have somebody else on. I like having guests, for sure. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. I've got a shoot this weekend, a concept shoot. If you're a fan of DC Comics and a certain psychotic woman that's in DC Comics, I'll leave it up to your imagination to figure out who that is exactly.
I could be quite a few.
It's going to be one that carries a baseball bat. How about that?
Oh, okay.
So
I thought you were talking about.
So it should be a fun shoot. I'm pretty excited to do that. Can't wait to get the smoke bombs out and play in the dirty streets of Grand Rapids for that shoot. So at least give you guys that bit of a teaser of what I'll be sharing in 2 weeks.
You have pleasant weather.
You got to go back to that alley we did them smoke grenades in.
That's definitely one of the stops for sure. And hey, Bob, it's funny you say pleasant weather. My ideal shoot would be great weather until the last half hour, and then I want it to just pour, and I want makeup running, and I want sopping wet hair, and I want just dark and grim.
Oh, that would be cool for that.
These aren't. We're not doing family.
Unfortunately, you're going to get running makeup and sopping wet hair and everything, but it's going to be from sweating to death.
That's very possible. I'll just make sure I don't wear makeup because I know I'll be sweating to death. So, you guys take care out there. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Just remember, pay attention to the posts when we do the social media posts. We're offering up invites for people to come in. Bob found his way in. Bob's super tech savvy, but what do you say, Bob? On a scale of 1 to 10, how easy was it for you to figure out how to get in here tonight?
Oh, it was real easy once I figured out the audio. I mean, and that's my own fault because I've got too much audio stuff. If I had a simple arrangement like a laptop, it'd be easy.
There you go, folks. No reason not to drop in. If you're not camera shy, we'd love to have you on as a guest. But until then, we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Take care.
Good.